Alright, this is take two. I'm trying not to have a whiny voice on this one. Try to sort of mold my voice into get a little John B. Wells, come aboard the mothership. Just mellow voice. Alright. Targeted individuals. This is what it is. I'm going to try to make this a 10-minute video. The definition of a targeted individual is a person who, against their will, well, of course it has to be against their will, right? Why would somebody want to be a targeted individual? But it is a plot to basically hold back that person's life for the purpose of destroy the basically the premise is destroy that person's life for the benefit of the group doing it. And targeted individuals are not just like people, like everyday people like you and me, or there's some very high level people in society who have been targeted individuals. And you can obviously say JFK was a targeted individual, and John Lennon perhaps. A lot of suspicion over that one. But let's focus more into your everyday targeted individual of 2013, and of course this has been going on for years. There's people who have been targets in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, last decade, 2010s. But in the case of modern targets, the most the most common thing that is known to be done to them is what is classified as organized stalking. And organized stalking is made for the intent of letting the target know that the people around him that they're watching that person, that they let the target know that they're being followed, and that anything they do is under scrutiny of surveillance. So there are some targeted individuals when they realize that they're not imagining this, what they do is say, well, this is not this is not right, this is criminal. They could go to the authorities, they could go to the police, perhaps their family, their friends. And when they go to those avenues to try to get help, it's going to sound to the people who don't know or understand that the person is suffering from a mental illness, because it is the exact same it's the exact same definition as a mental illness. Like, let's say somebody who is schizophrenic will say, "Oh, people are following me. Oh, the CIA is after me," and things like that. And targets, when they first learn, I don't think what goes through their mind is that it's the CIA doing it to them, but they will, by society, be classified as it's got to be a mental disorder. How else? Why would somebody follow just an everyday person around in circles, and what would be the purpose of that? But there is a purpose. The purpose is not discussed much in videos of this nature. It's usually discussing what is being done to them, but the purpose itself is usually not There's not much delving into that. So what do I feel is the purpose? A lot of times they'll take a human being who they know that person is a decent person, good intentions, wants to do nice things, maybe for society, maybe and my camera just went out, but I'll try to, now this really looks like a testimony with the dark the dark screen. But like I'm covering my identity here, but I'm gonna run with this anyway. It's usually people who are knocked out of society because of the good influence they would have on society. And I'm laughing here because I know I'm messing this up. But this is a serious subject. Let me just try to be clear here. They're people who they might be very intelligent, but usually they're kind-hearted, and they might have a humanitarianism to them, a good soul in them, and the world does not want people like that. Especially, I mean, when we look at what our government has done since 9/11, before that too, but 9/11 on, we've seen the degradation of society, and basically the evil winning over the good is what we're seeing. There's really no way around that. Whether you're a person who is a truther, or we all can see that the world is darkening, and so anybody who is of a good influence, a good-natured person who wants to shed light on the world, is a lot of the time they will be picked. They might not know yet that they were picked, or that a lot of times they won't know, but when they learn, the targeting gets more severe, because the ones being targeted have no recourse. They can't go to cops. They can't go to really any authorities, because the first thing, they'll run the mental illness card, and they'll just say, this person needs medication, they're delusional, and they'll run the gambit on you. But if that is why I'd recommend, if you find out that you're a targeted individual, keep your mouth shut as much as you can. Of course, people around you are going to learn that you realize what happened to you, and there's no escaping it entirely, that they're going to know that you're seeing something that on one level they might not understand. They might truly not realize the reality of it, but on the other hand, the people around you could be involved. It does happen. But summing this up in part one, and I kind of rambled on there, but just know that if you know you're a targeted individual, that it was not your fault for what happened to you, and don't let society blame you for your failures, because if you're being held down by a group of individuals that want to destroy your life, or minimize your life, make it less of what it could have been, you're in the trap. And how could you blame yourself for that? How could you blame yourself for the trap that was created, by other people for you? And that's part one.